What's up, world? My name is Zavian Dre, and this is my podcast, Dopenly Honest, breaking the chains of addiction. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Dopenly Honest. Today, we will have an honest conversation with a good friend of mine who goes by the name of Fig. We will learn how addiction can take one to their very lowest, while at the same time molding them into the person that they are today. My hope is that Fig's story will reach and inspire those in addiction and in recovery. So let's not waste no time. Let's get straight to it. Man, so Fig, first off, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come and share some strength and hope with me and for the ones that are still out here in the madness. And I think that's why sometimes, when we're in the meetings, while we do take that time out to remember those that are still in the madness. And man, it's just a great thing that we've made it out and that we're on this side now, man. So in a general way, man, if you don't mind, just to start out, what's your clean date? Just take us back to the beginning.
My name's Fig. I got a clean date of 6/9 of 23. My beginning, as far back as I can remember, man, like when we had family reunions when I was a kid growing up, I was like 8 or 9, man, and I can remember sneaking and getting alcohol out of the coolers, and taking them back to a tent with my other little cousin and drinking them and like, man, this is a great feeling, and like he'd smash 2 or 3 of them and get sick, and I'd drink like 6 or 9 and be like, I'm ready to go. Like it was a great feeling to me. Like I've never felt a feeling like it in my life, man. And I didn't come from a disrupted family. My parents are still married. They both work. I got an older brother. He went to the military. He did good with his life. I got uncles. They worked. Aunts that worked and everything. And then there was me. Couldn't hold a job because I loved getting drunk, getting high. It was just the best feeling in the world for me. I enjoyed it. There was no other feeling than getting high or getting drunk. I can remember my parents gave me lunch money every day to eat lunch at school, but I would save it. And at the end of the week, I can remember going and buying a bag or buying a bottle, because that's what I wanted to do. I would eat through the week just so I could party on the weekend.
Right.
That's where it about began for me, man. It was like when I was young, like 8 or 9 is when I started, but it got bad when I was about 13, 14. That's all I wanted to do. Like I would go to school drunk. I'd go to school high. My grades fell big time. I failed a grade, but then it progressed, and like it was what I lived for. Like it had me. It was like you're mine now. It was unreal for real, man. Like looking back at it now, where I'm living a clean and sober slate now, it's unreal the way it could take a hold of you at a young age. Because your body is still maturing, learning things, and then you get a hold of that, dude, and it don't do it no more. You don't learn no more because that's all you can think about.
If you're like me, I got an addictive personality. So it probably, once you took that first drink or whatever it was, and I remember you had just mentioned about the amount of alcohol you consumed at an early age. Whenever I first started, the first time I drank a gallon of Heaven Hill vodka. And if any of my friends end up listening to this, they're going to remember that night. They're going to remember how they was just drinking just to have fun, but I drank until I blacked out, which was going to lead me to the next point. So I know a lot of us start off with like marijuana, stuff that you don't even think that much about or that other people can do without a problem. Did you start off like that? I know you had just mentioned the alcohol and
The first time I drank, like I said, it was like 6 or 9 beers, and I didn't feel nothing off of them. I felt good, I felt happy for a change because, even though I had those blessings of my parents still being together, my brother being good and all that, man, there was still something missing in me. And when I took those drinks, man, it filled it. It gave me the comfort. It was like giving me a hug, telling me I'm okay. Now I look back on it, I know I wasn't. But just then, I was feeling it. I was trying to go to oblivion. Like, I don't want to remember what's going on. And then I was introduced to those little green sticks that, we call joints, but I can remember my first time going home high. My mom looked at me and she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Man, it's my allergies, mama." So she gave me 2 Benadryl and said, "Go to bed." I could lie to mama. Mama, she love her to death, My dad, man, he was a law enforcement officer, he worked for the DOT and,
Can't bullshit him, huh?
right, so I had to be asleep by the time he got home, It was different, but mama, she was always there with the Benadryl, "Go on, go to bed." Like, I think she knew, but she didn't want my dad to know 'cause, he has a temper. And, that's some other things, I can remember getting my tail beat for, just little shit. That made me wanna do it more because I wanted to numb that pain,
Yeah, I'm the same way, bro.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just silly, man, looking back at it now, man, it's on me. I'm the one that did that shit, but I understand where he's coming from now. He was trying to mold me to the man he was molded into be. But then I was like, "F the police." You
Type shit, yeah.
know? You would put hands on me, watch what I can do. So, yeah, like I said, it started out with alcohol when I was a younger age, and then it progressed into marijuana, and it was my gateway because it wasn't the high I liked, so I wanted to try something different. I was at a party one night, and somebody put this white substance out and said, "Here, tell me what you think about this." And I was like, "What do I do with it?" And they was like, "You snort it." And I was like, "Alright, cool." And so I snorted it, and they was like, "Man, now you on a rocket ship." And I was like, "Well, what is this?" And they was like, "It's cocaine." Well, the next thing I know, man, we're about an 8 ball in or so, and I'm like wired to the gills, ready to go. I loved it. That was the high I was looking for. It was that
The
rush.
whole time, yeah.
Yeah, because I never wanted to be the person that didn't know what was going on. And that was one thing about alcohol, man. You get so drunk, you pass out, you don't know what's going on. And with weed, same way with me, man. I'd smoke so much weed, man. I'd be the old man sitting in the rocking chair watching everybody else outside, you know. But the coke, man, I could do anything. I felt like I was king of the world. Like I could do any trade you wanted me to do, I could do it. I probably couldn't, but in my head, yeah, we're gonna do it. So that became my drug of choice, man, when I was about 16. I did anything and everything, man. I can remember I stole vehicles. I stole my dad's car, my dad's truck. I did everything, man. So my parents thought it was my surroundings that was making me wild, making me do all this shit. And we lived in Eminence. And so they moved me out to the country in Pleasureville. And I was out there for about 2 weeks, and my dad kicked me out at the age of 16. I don't know if you remember Brownings, the,
Yes.
the parking lot. It was the
Yeah.
big parking lot
Yeah.
over where McDonald's and CVS is now. Well, they had cars over there, man, and all you had to do was walk through those rolls, man. You could kick the front bumper, and eventually keys would fall out of one. And that's where I slept most of the time, was in a car at Brownings. Whether it'd be November or it'd be March, that's where I slept. I had a good buddy of mine. I ain't gonna give no names up or nothing, but he offered me a place to stay with him in Chevyville until I got out of school. So I moved in with him. I went to school about half the time. When I was in school, I was high. Like there was no doubt about I had to do a line of coke when I got up in the morning. I have a bag from the night before from hustling all the days, of getting the money to get the dope. I had to hustle that dope to get dope. I can remember going to school high, man, and the teachers were like, "You're gonna fail, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail," and I was like, "I don't care." And so when I turned 18, I dropped out halfway through my junior year. I got with this chick and I got her knocked up. And I had my first child at the age of 19. She's a godsend. She's big hearted. She's kind. She's mean too, though. You can ask most people, they'll tell you she's kind of
Yeah.
an asshole.
Yeah.
So I had her, man, and I stayed calm, man, for about 6 months of her life, dude. I didn't do nothing. I didn't drink. I didn't get high or nothing, man. She was my priority. She replaced the drugs for me. But that addiction, man, sat on my shoulders, and those demons kept hollering, "Come on, come on, come on." And so I went back and I dropped her. Like I left her alone. Like I didn't talk to her again for like 2 years. Looking back at it now, I'm ashamed of it and everything, but I've made amends to my daughter now, and she's good with me now. Actually, I live with her. She helps me more than she knows. But 2 years after I dropped her, man, I got back with her baby mama and knocked her up again. Had another kid with her, another daughter, and she was addicted to cocaine at birth. I never did quit addiction after that. It was full-fledged run. I got introduced to meth, and that was my queen. That was my ride or die. It didn't matter what girl was there. It didn't matter what homie was there, whatever. meth was always there. And I mean, the ups and downs just happened, man. I couldn't keep a job, couldn't work because I'd want to be high. Sneak into my mom and dad's house, I'd rob them. I'd steal from them, steal pills out of the pill cabinet, go sell them. I knew the combination to my dad's safe. I'd go in the safe, pull out money, go get dope, steal their vehicles again, to go get dope while they wasn't home. I mean, I did the most, not trying to do the most, but,
Yeah.
trying to be sneaky about it, not doing anything. And then I realized, well, if I get 2 ounces, I can sell 1 ounce and have an ounce. I did that for the longest time. At one point, man, I was called an honest drug dealer, which is weird, because I gave more than what I should have,
Right.
but I was getting more at the same time. Not glorifying that by no means. Anybody listening to this, that's not glorifying. It's just a part of it. I was never part of my kid's life. Like I would walk in maybe once every month, say, "Hey, how you doing?" Or my mom would call me because they had a cell phone for me, just so they could keep in touch. She would call me, tell me that they're being bad. I need to come talk to them or something, and I'd go talk to them, tell them not to be like me. Don't do this, don't do that. Even though my youngest one, she has attitude problems and she's got the isms as we have. So it's just one of those it's gonna have to be. My oldest one, she can drink 2 beers and be fine for 6 months. She don't have this. It's hard, man, because I live with her, dude. And I see my youngest one. I don't live with her. She don't live with me. She lives with her boyfriend, but she's got the isms too, and I see them, man, and I can't do nothing but love her from afar.
You mentioned speaking about your kids and stuff like that, and there's going to be people that's listening to this that maybe going through a similar situation as far as because it's just the reality of it. In addiction, we sometimes we get our kids taken away. Sometimes stuff like that happens. There's going to be people listening to this that's going through that same thing.
Well, what I would like to say about that though, I don't like saying ill will about anybody, but their mother was also an addict and an alcoholic. At the age of 13, my daughter was 11, 12 maybe. She got in a fight with her mom and she beat her mom up. My oldest one, she called me and told me to come pick her up from her house because she didn't want her there no more.
Yeah.
Well, that CPS got involved because my oldest one called him on her, and my youngest one and her told the story and everything about that situation. And my parents got custody of my kids. So my kids come from a dysfunctional family, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak no ill will on her mother because, she's going through her own thing right now. But my kids, they talk to her, but they don't have nothing to do with her. I was one of the lucky ones, man. My parents got custody of them, so I was able to see them if I wanted to. And they seen me whenever they could. Like I'd be on a 3-day bender or whatever, been up for 3 days, go home, sleep 6 days, see them 15 minutes and bounce out the door. But they seen me at home that whole time. So they seen what the addiction does to me.
Right.
They see what the dope can do to you.
Man, what a blessing it is that we are able to be in our kids' life today. And a lot of us, we all got them stories as to where us in and out of our kids' life, and just to go off of some stuff you was speaking on, I can relate as far as the guilt goes because with my oldest child, I was still in the madness when she was born. I'm not going to get too much into detail about it, but I will say that I was in active addiction, and today I'm not anymore, but I still carry that guilt.
Very much.
But at the same time, I say that I've learned that to keep on feeling guilty about that, that ain't helping me out or helping her out, and she can see the life that I live today, you know what I mean? And fatherhood is very important to me in recovery, man, because once we get clean and once we have a clear state of mind, like when we're in active addiction, it's sad to say, but our kids or our family are not our main priority. That's just the reality of the situation, man. And
That's a
speak,
gift.
yeah,
That's a gift
yeah,
the
it's a true
program gives
gift.
to you.
It's a true gift. So speaking of loved ones and family members, and I think you touched on it a little bit, but how has addiction not only affected you, but affected your loved ones?
I said how it affected me, man. I've lost everything.
Right.
I mean, it took everything from me from jump. My family, they were ashamed to be seen around me. You mentioned my name and my dad and my mom would be like, I don't know who it is. You know, my alias is Fig. My real name is Matthew. Yeah, so if you ask my parents about Fig, they're gonna be like, "We don't know him," but that's what everybody knew me as. Now, like, I talk to my parents at least 4 or 5 times a week. I go to their house, I help them do stuff around their house because they're older in age now, and they lost all trust in me. They knew I was breaking into their house, they knew I was taking shit. My dad called law on me a couple times, when I stole his truck, he called the law on me, and I had repercussions on that. He's called him because I robbed his house before. I don't blame him because that was the old person I was, it's he had to. My mother, though, I'm the baby, so she always babied me,
Yeah.
got that baby syndrome going on with my mama,
Yeah.
it didn't matter what happened, she was gonna be there. But then it got to the point, man, where she couldn't do nothing for me no more. Like, she had to turn away from me. I understand that and I respect that. To this day, it's hard for my mom to realize that I'm a drug addict. She thought the only problem I had was alcohol. I got busted a couple years ago. My mom thought it was all over alcohol. You don't get busted over
Mm-mm.
alcohol. That was her mind, you know what I'm saying? In her mind, though, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And to this day, man, she recognizes it, but she can't believe it that her son is a drug addict. My dad, like, he's one of them, if you want to quit, you're going to quit. You don't need no help. There ain't no such thing. If you gonna quit, you gonna quit.
Yeah, he's old school then.
Yeah, yeah, and, but he's coming to realization now, man, that these meetings I go to in NA is something I need. So he's okay with it now. I tell him, Thursdays and Sundays I go to meetings, Dad, I can't help out. And he's okay with that because he's, what about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday? And I'm like, that's fine. I get off work, I'll go over and help him out. Other people now, my kids especially, they're proud of me. They love going places with me. I touched a little bit on it just a while ago. My youngest one's gonna be just like us. She's gonna be in the rooms with us one day when she's ready. She don't realize it now. She's still in denial, but I see it. I see it hardcore in her. Like I said, I gotta love her from afar because she'll get me dirty before I get her clean.
That's a fact.
And I'll talk to her about it, and she knows what's going on. And she's only 20, but she thinks she knows everything. So I'm just sitting there waiting on the door to open one day and her be like, "Dad, I'm done. I'm tired."
And it will.
Right, and that's all I can hope for. I'm hoping it's sooner than later. I hope it's not too late before she comes into the rooms, and it's never too late.
And that's why we gotta stay in position, man.
Exactly.
Cause we have other addicts that's around us, and we got family members that's looking up to us. And as long as we stay in position, we can show the next person what to do and what not to do at the same time, if it makes sense.
Yeah.
My worst nightmare is one of my children having to go through addiction.
Yes.
And it
Oh man.
puts me in the mind state of where my mom was watching her son go from star athlete, good student, to next thing you know, I'm strung out on the worst possible drug you can be strung out on. It's just insanity, man. It really is. And now I want to get into addiction in general and how it's affected you and stuff like that. If you don't mind, man, can you take us through some of the things or speak on some of the things rather that keep you clean today?
First and foremost, God. Okay, so in May of 22, I got busted with 3 ounces of meth and a pistol. It didn't stop me. I always said the way I was going to get out was either death or jail, and jail didn't stop me, so I figured it was going to be death. Man, I got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I went to rehab. And there was a guy there. I went to Recovery Works of Georgetown. I talked to him. It was supposed to be a 10-minute conversation, and it lasted an hour. And he told me my life story word for word. At the end of it, I got up and was going to walk out, man. I had tears in my eyes and everything because, I just heard my story. And, man, you know how sickening it was listening to your story being told to you. He told me, he's like, "I want you to do one thing for me." And I was like, "What's that?" He said, "When you get back to your room tonight, I want you to pray." And I laughed at him, man, because I was agnostic. I think there's something, but there's nothing for me.
Yeah.
I was one left behind. There is no God for me. I just laughed at him. I was like, "Dude, I ain't done that since I was a child. I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, "It don't matter how you do it, just do it." And so I was laying in my bed that night, man. And I was like, "You know what? Screw it. What's the worst that could happen? Nothing." So I threw up a prayer in my own way. I was just talking, and I fell asleep throwing up that prayer, and I woke up the next day and a changed man. And that's what keeps me going every day, is knowing that God was there the whole time. He had his hand on me the whole time. I just had to ask him for a change, and I had to truly mean it. I had to truly mean it in my heart, and ask him for forgiveness, man. And ever since then, dude, I mean, my life has changed. God's blessed me with my relationships with my kids. They're one of my motivators because I don't want them to do the same thing I did. My parents are my motivators. My best friend that I talk to every day, go fishing with, hang out with, he's one of my motivators. He might not know it, but he is, man, because just him talking to me every day, him checking on me, making sure I'm all right, lets me know that there's actually other people besides my family that care about me. He's not just my best friend, he's my brother. There's a big shout out to him because he don't know it, but he's a big motivator in my life. Being able to go down the street and people look at me and wave, that motivates me to stay the way I am.
Some little things.
Yeah, it's waking up and going to the shower and knowing I got hot water because I'm not high that day. Because if I was high, I wasn't gonna pay the water bill. The gas is paid, the rent's paid, the bills are paid. That motivates me. Seeing other people just like me motivate me. Like you yourself is a motivation for me. You're right behind me on time, but it don't matter how much. Even if you got a day clean, man, you're motivating for me because what the NA program offered me was a will to give freely back what was so freely given to me, and that means a lot to me. So there's other people out there just like us, and knowing that if I can just reach one person and help them through something, anything, I mean, I keep my phone on all 24 hours a day. I write my number down at every meeting for somebody new. If they reach out, I answer. My phone's there. It's the small things, like you said, man. It's the little things that keep me motivated the most. Not just because I get my family back, man. It's because I get a life back. Addicts are a rare breed of people because we get to live two lives, the life of addiction and the life of being clean. We get to experience life on another term again. It's a blessing in itself, man, to know that God has so much offering for me.
Yeah.
He has such a bigger plan for me than sitting around and getting high and robbing people and doing evil. Do I struggle? Yes. I struggle every day. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It crosses my mind at least once or twice a day. Man, let's just screw all this, man. Let's just go back the way we were. But I can't because I know what'll be taken from me if I was to go back out.
Yeah, it ain't an option no more, is it?
Right. No, no, my life is not an option because I know my next time out is going to be my last time out. I'm not going to quit till I'm dead. And I'm not going to do that to my kids. I'm not going to do it to my family, my friends. It's a blessing to have what I have now and be so easily given it. That's the thing, man. Because I mean, I never thought it'd be this easy. It's hard to quit drugs, but it's not hard to stay off of them because you know what comes next. You see it in other people. You see it in people that's been in these rooms 20 years, man. You see what they've got. And I thrive for what they have. That's another motivator. I mean, I know a guy that went 17 years clean, went back out, lost it all,
That just goes to show you, man.
but he got it all back. He come back to the rooms and he got it all back, man. So it just shows you right there the blessing is staying sober and clean. It's all there is to it. It's not that hard, but at the same time, it's a challenge, if that makes sense.
Most definitely. And speaking on that, man. So we hear a phase all the time in recovery, and to me, it's the most important one, and it is one day at a time. So if you don't mind, man, speak on the importance of one day at a time and what that quite literal means to you in recovery.
One day at a time is exactly what it is. It's all you've got is one day at a time. You're not promised tomorrow, and yesterday's already gone. One day at a time, man. When I wake up, I ask God to keep me clean for just today, because that's all I've got. I can't worry about tomorrow because it ain't here yet. And we have trials and tribulations through the day. Anytime, it's just one day at a time. What is there's 1,440 minutes in a day or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, something like that, close to that.
Yeah, and I used to live by that because I couldn't do it one day at a time first, so I had to do it by minute.
Seconds at a time.
Yeah, yeah. When I was first into this stuff, man, yeah, it's what I'm saying, it's not hard, but at the same time, there's a challenge because I challenged myself at first every minute to stay clean, and then every hour, and then part of the day, half a day, 3/4 of a day, and then when I went to sleep at night, I told God, "Thank you for keeping me clean just for today," because that's all we have is one day at a time. It's hard, but it gets easier to think of it at one day at a time.
When I first got in recovery, I was doing so much that I'm like, I gotta stop smoking weed. I gotta stop drinking beer. Like, I can't do none of that shit. And if you think about it, like, man, I ain't never gonna be able to do this shit for the rest of my life. That's gonna be too overwhelming for you. It's gonna stress you out, and you're probably gonna use behind it. When they told me, when I started going to the meetings, one day at a time, just for today, it helped me slow my thought process down. It helped me breathe. Just thinking about it that simply, I was able to focus on the things that I needed to do to stay clean, man. And when we in recovery, you always hear them little cliche phases, and one day at a time, just for today, little stuff like that. But
Keep coming back.
keep coming back, no matter what. Keep coming back. If you relapse, keep coming back.
Meeting makers make it.
Meeting makers make it. All of that stuff. Speaking of meetings, man, how there's numerous ways that people get clean, but I see you in meetings. What's the importance of the meetings to you?
When I first got back from rehab, I was told to do 90 meetings in 90 days. Well, the first thing I did is I went to a meeting, I got me a sponsor. That sponsor told me, let's do 90 for 90. And so I was going to a meeting a night, every night, except for on Sundays, I would go to two. There were some days I would go to two meetings throughout the day, too. So I did 90 in like 40. I mean, I was killing it, doing these meetings because my recovery meant that much to me then.
Right.
I called my sponsor one day and I was like, man, do I got to keep going to these meetings? And he said, did you get high every day? And I was like, well, touche, All
Yeah.
right, you got me on that one. The importance of the meeting, man, for me, it let me know there were people just like me, that I'm not unique. There's people exactly like me. Even if your drug of choice is not like mine, you're still like me. We have an addictive personality. The meetings brought fellowship to me. It brought people closer to it brought me a new family. You know that. Like,
Yeah.
we go to the same meetings, man.
Yeah.
We're all a family now. It's not a family I picked, but y'all are family. And I mean, hearing the readings, the why are we here, how it works,
Who
traditions,
is an addict?
yeah, what is the NA program? I mean, hearing those, man, it still instills into me what I need to do because there's somebody that don't get to hear that. That's a refreshment for my brain to know what to say to another addict when I see one. Hey, there's help. This is where we go. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Those readings tell me to tell these people that because it's attraction rather than promotion. Sponsorship is a big thing. That's
Yeah, I
where
was gonna ask you about that too.
that's where you get your sponsor is in a meeting. You're not just going to find somebody off the side of the street and be like, "Hey, can you sponsor me?" You got to have a connection with your sponsor. And I mean, yeah, your sponsor's not going to be your best friend half the time. It's not going to be your boy. It's not going to be that connection there. It's going to be a connection to where they understand where you're coming from and can help you out in the situations you need help with. In other words, this person's going to show you how to be an active adult because where we was in addiction so bad, we thought we were adulting, but we were not. And for most people, when they quit using drugs, they go back to the mentality of when they first started using drugs. So, I'm a teenager all over again. I'm just now learning how to live, man. I don't know how to do a checkbook. I don't know how to apply for a job. I don't know how to talk to females, because I'm stupid. Stupid with my addictions, man. With the way I did stuff in addiction is completely different than the way I've got to do things now. And my sponsor taught me this. My sponsor taught me how to do a checkbook. My sponsor taught me how to apply for jobs. My sponsor told me how to get my own business going. He taught me that my picker's broke. Quit going for the same women I was going for.
Yeah.
Try something different. And it's all because of the meetings, man. I went to these meetings and these people are in there telling me their life stories, their life confessions. It's not a story. To me, a story means made up.
Right.
If you're gonna tell me
That's a
what
good point. I ain't ever thought of it like that, but
you
yeah,
know
bro.
I mean, I had bedtime stories when I was a kid, So to me, I don't like saying stories. It's like your confession. It's like you sit here and give your lead.
And you get honest, man.
Right, right. That's the only time you can get honest, man, because nobody else out there in the streets are gonna know you. You try to tell somebody the life you lived in addiction, and they're gonna look at you like you're stupid because they don't know nothing about it, unless it's another addict. That's the only way we can help is when one addict shares with another addict.
And that therapeutic value of one addict helping another addict is without parallel. That's really powerful, and that's a true statement because like what you were sharing on how your friend motivates you, you know what I'm saying? I know who you talking about, man, and I see it in real life. So we doing this for the still suffering addict. That's what it's always about, the still suffering addict. And it's also about the addict in recovery as well, because we got to stay recovered. We got to keep doing it
Not to mention, it's also for the addict that's picking up for the first time,
for the
not
first
knowing what
time.
they're getting into,
Yeah, for the first time.
or for the babies being born into addiction with no
With no
choice.
choice, bro. Yeah. And so when we first in recovery, man, and I gotta say is when we're out there in addiction, and I'm speaking on me, I don't have an outlet, or I don't think I have an outlet. So I don't realize that there's people that are just like me because I haven't even tried to do nothing different. And I can't talk to my family. I can't talk to my mom about this because she's not an addict. I can't talk to my uncle about this because he's not an addict. The point I'm trying to make is that there's places that you can go, there's help out there. And in these places, these people are just like you, and you can get that outlet. And that's what it's about. You got to get to a place to where you can feel comfortable with someone to share that pain.
And I've never been to a room and not felt welcome. Man, I can go to Pittsburgh and go to NA meeting and I still feel welcome, because it's people just like me. Whether we have the same addiction or not, it don't matter. You're still just like me. You're going through all the hardships, everything that I've been through, you've been through, or getting ready to go through. And one of the things that I wanted to say, about this key tags is the first one they give you for the newcomers is just for today. And the last letter for each word is try when you put them together. Try a new way of life. Try a new way of living. And that hit me hard, man, when a dude said that to me. And I already was a year and a half clean when he told me this. And I was like, dude, I never noticed it. And it hits.
Me neither.
Because
Say it one more time.
on your white key tag, just for today, the last letter of each word is TRY.
Wow.
Try. Try a new way of life.
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have thought it. And I mean, when he told me that, dude, it just hit. I was like, shit. It's all right there in front of us. All you got to do is walk in them rooms. Don't be afraid to walk in there because you're going to get hugged. I know you might not like the hug, but I'm telling you, man, it's the best hug in the world besides when your mama hugs you. There's no other hug that you'll need. Like I said, I've been doing this for almost 2.5 years now, and I don't see going back as an option. There's nothing that can hit me hard enough to make me go back. I had a sponsor go back out on me 4 days before my 2-year clean date.
Man.
Yeah, man. My homie did too, but he's back. So my sponsor's not come back yet.
But for you to still be clean, bro, and your sponsor go back out,
That told me right there that it can take anybody, that it's not just random selection. It can take the closest people to you. And that's the demons playing on you, not them. He has other demons to worry about. But that was the demons taking somebody I cared about and took them away. Like, oh, we're going to get you back. You're coming back. Before it happened, man, I quit going to meetings for like 3 weeks. And I was like, man, I'm cured. I'm cured. I've almost got 2 years. I'm cured, man. I'm good. Then he went back out and my buddy went back out, dude. And I was like, I'm not good. It literally scared the life back into me to get to a meeting, to get back into the rooms because they wasn't there, and if they could go out that quick, man, I'm next. And so I had to get to a meeting, and that's what I did. I thank God every day that I did, and I thank God every day that my buddy that went back out is back in the rooms again now. Even though my sponsor went back out, I still talk to him at least once a week, just to see how he's doing, to tell him that the door's still open. It's not closed.
and will never close.
Right, and he still talks recovery to me. That's the thing, man. Like, he knows. I think what the thing is, and I'm going to keep it on me, if I was to go back out, the thing that would keep me from not coming back is a shame. Shame that I did it and the look on people's face that I disappointed. But what you got to understand, man, is you can come back to them rooms and you're not going to see disappointment. You're going to see relief. You're going to see happiness
And love.
and love, man, and joy like you've never felt before. Because we're all human, man. We make mistakes. None of us are perfect. We're going to mess this up. That's what we do. We overcomplicate the simplest program. It's because that's the way our brains are formed. It's not our fault. It's not like I woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to be addicted today. That's like me waking up saying, hey, I'm going to go to jail today. Who does that? Nobody. You know, it's not our faults, man. Our brains are just not wired the same way as, and I'm throwing my fingers up here saying normal people, because I still look at us as we're normal and they're the weird ones. Because
Yeah.
because they don't get to live life twice. But in today's society, you know, we're still shunned upon. So,
And it just goes to show you that no matter what people might think about, you know, you're always gonna have people that's like, oh, look at him and look, you know. But we done been out there, we done did the worst of the worst, you know. So man, I just sitting there listening to you, I gotta commend you. And I knew, you know, what you just shared on. I had known that from when you have shared on it before. I just gotta commend you for hanging in there, you know, after your sponsor goes out. And it just makes me think, you know, of my sponsor and stuff like that. And when you first shared on it, I'm like, damn, could I stay clean if my sponsor went back out? And that showed me that, yeah, I would. And even he told me, fuck yeah, you would stay clean if I went out, you know.
because you have the tools.
Got the tools, man. I got the knowledge, you
Right.
know, and it's up to us. It's up to me to keep doing this thing. And where I want to go at next with this is they talk about the drugs is but a symptom, but our problems lie within our head and my thinking,
Stinking thinking.
you know, and the drugs is just how I cope. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you?
It's like I said earlier, you know, at the beginning of this, you know, it filled an emptiness that was in me. There was always that hole, and that's where it lied for me. There's a deeper problem within me. The alcohol and the drugs subside. You know, they took care of that for me because I didn't want to face it. It took it away. But as anybody knows, you know, it's like when you get drunk because you have a bad day, when you wake up the next day, it's twice as bad because you still have to deal with that problem. With the addiction part of me, man, I kept pushing it away for over 20 years. I pushed that problem away. Now I have to look at that problem. I have to figure out what in me is the problem because it's a me problem. It's not a we problem. It's not your problem. It's not that dude's problem. It's not that dude's problem. It's my problem. You got to get to the root of it, man. That's where working your steps coming in. You work your steps, you get to your fourth step, man, you find what you're really about.
That's what I'm on right now.
And you
About to
finding
st-
out
yeah, I'm on my fourth step right now.
you finding what yourself is really about. The fifth step, you find out what you're about to because, you know, it's the defects of character. Sixth step, man, is eye opener because you ask God to take them away. Is that the fifth step? I don't have them in front of me. I can't remember. But doing them steps, like the first one was hard at first, but then after you get done with that one, it leads you to the second one, and it gets easier each time you do them. You go through all 12 of them, man, they're good. You're golden. And then you do them again, and you realize you're not. You know, you
Right.
think you got all the
'Cause
stuff
life
off of
changes.
Right,
More stuff happens.
right, and then you remember more. The longer you stay clean, the more you remember, or the more that comes back that you have to work on.
What's the most important step to you?
Mine is making amends because I hurt so many people, you know, and I do living amends. That's my main one because I have amends to my kids, to my parents, you know, to my friends.
You said living amends.
Yeah,
Describe what living amends are to somebody that might not know.
to me, it's like I can't tell you I'm sorry because I'm sorry has been played out, but I can show you. I can show you that I mean it. That to me is what a living amends is. If I tell you I'm not going to do it again, then I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to do it again and then come to you 2 weeks later and do it again. That's just bullshit behind you then. Like, you're not going to believe in me. You're not going to trust me. And I don't want to lose that. So if I tell you I'm not going to do it again, I'm going to show you every day that I'm not that person anymore. I'm not going to do it. And that's my living amends to you. I don't ask you for your forgiveness because I'm going to show you every day. And then you're going to show me that you forgive me by putting your trust back in me eventually. Whether it takes 5 years, 10 years, whatever, I'm not going to give it up. I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to keep it alive. And that to me is what a living amends is.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any more perfect, and the fact that you said the fourth step is the most important one to you, that shows me that you got a big heart because like I said, that's when you gotta, who did I hurt? Man, I gotta address this shit. I gotta make amends for this shit. So the most important step for me is the first step. And I say that because, and I'm always gonna go back to other addicts, that's still out there in the madness. You gotta get to a point where you gotta admit, because for me, I was in denial. But once I finally was able to admit that I have a problem, then I was able to address that problem, and that's where, if you're listening today, that's where you got to come to. You got to get to a point to where you got to admit that you have a problem. You got to get honest with yourself. You got to do it for yourself, not for your kids, not for your wife, not for your mom or your dad. You got to do it for yourself, and then you can do it for those people after. But if you don't do it for yourself, then 9 times out of 10, man, I hear it over and over again. If you don't do it for yourself, you ain't gonna get it.
Well, I mean, you got to remember, man, anything you put in front of your recovery, you're going to
You're
lose.
gonna lose it.
So, I mean, if you put your family in front of your recovery because you're doing it for them,
Yeah.
you're going to lose that
And
family.
they might not even understand that,
Right.
but it ain't for them to understand. That's
Right.
for us to get.
Right.
That if we put them in front of our recovery, we will lose them. That's just as plain and simple as it gets. Our recovery comes first, man. And Fig, bro, like, you said I helped you, but you don't even know like how much you've helped me in my recovery. Just watching you first come in and still have your same clean date. For any addict to still have their same clean date every day, I just don't think people understand how significant, how powerful, how meaningful that is for us.
Well, just remember, anything can change, but it don't mean the clean date has to.
It don't. Like I said, man, me appreciating you is an understatement for coming onto my platform and sharing your strength and your hope and your experience, man. And I can tell that you want to help as many addicts as possible, and I do too.
Most definitely.
And if we done got to a point to where we're clean and we not trying to help other addicts, then we got something we need to look at.
We're not clean.
We not clean. We might not be doing dope.
But we're not clean.
Right. That's what it's about, is helping other addicts.
Freely giving back to what was so freely given to you.
What was so freely given to us, my boy. Yeah. That's what it's about, man. And so if you're an addict, if you're still out there, if you're still in the madness, we want you to know, because it's a we program.
Yes. Most
We
definitely.
want you to know that there's hope, there's strength, and you don't have to keep living the way that you are living. There's meetings, there's numerous outlets that you can reach out to. There is hope. There is a new way of life.
Just try it.
That's all you got to do. Just try a new way. At this point, what do you have to lose?
And if you do hit a meeting, keep coming back, because eventually you're going to hear something that sticks and it will help you out through the journey.
So yeah, man, once again, man, Fig, I appreciate you. It's always a blessing to see another addict doing the damn thing and doing it day after day after day, because life on life terms still happens. In sobriety, with clean time, life on life still happens. And
It's still shitty.
yeah. So we gotta stay on our shit, man. And yeah, man, with that, that's all we got today. Stay tuned in for the next episode of Dopenly Honest. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dopenly Honest. I know all too well that recovery is an uphill battle, but there is hope. For resources, find your local NA, AA, or CR meeting. I can't stress enough how crucial meetings are to my personal recovery. If you enjoyed this content, please like, share, and meet us back right here for more episodes of Dopenly Honest. And remember, you are not alone. One day at a time, we do recover.